Hey YouTube, how's it going? I know I look really ridiculous with this headband on here, but here to talk about this game here. I was meaning to do this video a while back because I got some gripes. I've got some serious gripes about this one. I'm actually not a huge Street Fighter fan. I'm wearing this for the video, but hey, so Street Fighter Five, Street Fighter Five. What is there to say about you? There's so much to say about you, actually. But now, don't get me wrong, because there's going to be probably some Street Fighter fans that attack me for saying all this. But what happened between a game like? Let me see, reaching back here. Jeez, I got so many games back here. I got Super Street Fighter 4 in here somewhere. Yeah, I'm stumbling on my point here. What happened between this one and this game? Like seriously, you see the polar differences. The polar differences. I'm trying to center in the camera. Sorry, y'all. But the polar differences. If you played any of the Street Fighters between uh, the older version versus the newer versions, and then we come to Street Fighter Five, which I will say it's definitely the most beautiful looking Street Fighter game to date. It really is. Street Fighter Five looks amazing. I know when I saw the trailers, I was like, man, these graphics look amazing. These character models look nice. These look better than Ultra Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 4's character models, period. That wasn't really so much as my issue. My issue was we waited between 2011 or however long Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out until 2016. And you mean to tell me we got a weaker roster, and I'm talking about release. We're actually getting a better roster now in Street Fighter Five. With the new characters they're releasing, we got Akuma and several others. So I mean, I think that's really nice. However, I still feel like if you compare it to a lot of the other fighting games that came out in the past couple of years between Street Fighter between Mortal Kombat X, we just got the new Tekken recently, Injustice 2, um, just fighting games of those stature. Uh, I'll even throw Tekken 7 in there. Why not Tekken 7? So you mean tell me between those fighting games, Capcom is going to release disappointing Street Fighter 5. Oh, don't get me started on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but I'll save that for another video. But I feel like Street Fighter 5 is just so bare bones. Like I remember playing it and I'm like, okay, so I can't even access half the stuff if I'm not online. Well, that's terrible. It wasn't like that in the other Street Fighter games. So I got on. So after we me and my girl got our whole situation established and everything, moved into our place. We so got our internet and everything established. I popped in Street Fighter Five. Like, okay, so all these features I couldn't get offline. Let me see what features are available to me online. And then checking those features, the features they're still so bare bones. I mean, yeah, there was a weak story mode for each character. You could beat in like maybe a half an hour if you go through every character. That's every character combined is a half an hour. I'm not talking about one character. I'm talking about an entire roster of characters combined. You'll beat it in a half an hour. Pretty disappointing, huh? Especially for those who haven't played Street Fighter Five. Sounds disappointing. Well, I've got more. Sit back and grab a box of popcorn or whatever. So Another thing that bothered me about Street Fighter Five is the like I said, yeah, the lack of content. So yeah, you have a lackluster story mode, um, and then you have a the trial mode was kind of lackluster too. To be really honest with you, um, the online mode is okay. Uh, just yeah, the again the character development, the character selection was pretty slim. I'm like, wow, where did 20 of the characters go from the other Street Fighter over to this one? I mean, because a lot of those characters aren't even on this roster. I like how they put new characters in here. Yes, there are some new characters in this one, but again, like this is what I mean by a disappointing fighting game. Let's go back to Mortal Kombat X that had all the content in it, all the unlockable content, all the things you could do in one player mode, the towers, joining different factions. Even if you're not online, you can't do none of the faction stuff when you're offline. But you know what? You could still join. You could still do towers. You can still see characters' story modes. You can still play the full story mode. You can still go through the crypt and unlock everything that's in the game. Mortal Kombat, and then let's not forget the roster. The roster was incredible even before we got the DLC characters. It was still a really good roster. That's what I'm saying. So like when something like Street Fighter Five comes out, I'm like Street Fighter Five, you better bring it because fighting games are up in the ante. They're bringing everything. And Street Fighter Five comes out with this lackluster, for lack of a better term, half-ass content. So now, yeah, so now like all the Street Fighter fans are left with just a mediocre game. I mean, the fighting is still incredible. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, guard cancel is not like the last guard cancel, and they cut this by a few frames." I don't really, I don't really count all that or whatever. I just want to have fun with the game, and I feel like even with like that type of game, I still don't think it's a bad game. I mean, if you want to play something that was close to a bad Street Fighter game, try playing Capcom's Fighting Evolution. That was bad, but this, I mean, I wouldn't even put it in the realms of like worst fighting games, but it was just disappointing. It's like we got all this content in the last couple Street Fighter games, and you guys released this. And then, I mean, I give it to them that they apologize to their fans, but I'm pretty sure they apologized because of all the backlash they got from the game's release because the game was so lackluster. Like there was barely anything in it. I mean, it wasn't that many characters to explore. Uh, there wasn't a lot of content. You can't, go in and do any customization. At least in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, there was some form of customization with the gym system, which I did like. I like the gym system. I actually like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but I felt like once you get here, just everything is stripped. I was like, man, this is like the most bare bones fighting game I've ever played. So I mean, and again, I just recently joined a Street Fighter ESL tournament, and again, I can still enjoy the multiplayer experience on Street Fighter, but when it comes to a single player experience, Street Fighter just doesn't deliver that well. And I really hope Capcom comes out of this slum and actually starts developing better fighting games. This is 2017. We're going into 2018 here in a couple months. So Capcom really, if they want to keep making video games and they want to keep, you know, giving fans better content, I think they need to come out with better games instead of these lackluster titles with barely anything in them. Um, and I actually wanted to make another video too, but it's going to be for another discussion. Uh, and it's going to be a discussion on, should it be okay for video game companies to just release half-ass games? Because that's been a really big issue lately. But I digress. This is for another video. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of just get out my thoughts as to what I thought the problem was with Street Fighter Five, and like I said, probably a few times in this video, it's just the severe lack of content at release. I mean, and then yeah, they apologized. Then they gave us more characters, more costumes. They gave us more everything, pretty much, and allow us to, instead of buy the characters, kind of give them to us for free a little bit because we can unlock them with fight money. So I thought that was kind of cool. I just wish like at launch it was a better game than what we got. That's the game I kind of look forward to. The game that we got at launch. Not you releasing a half-ass game at launch and going like, but we'll give you all the content later. Don't burn us. We'll give you the content later. Sometimes that's not always acceptable. Um, so that's my little bit of ranting for this video. Yeah, so my what's wrong with Street Fighter Five video. Who knows? I might do more videos like this, to be honest, if I get more requests on them and stuff like that. And I'll just kind of do what I did with this video and just break down what I thought about the game and why it wasn't that great, or why it was disappointing. So, uh, yeah, definitely follow me on Facebook. I am on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Um, Check me out. See you guys in the next video.